Okay, on to my next whiskey. This one is Bowmore 12. This is another Isla whiskey. Bowmore is actually the oldest whiskey on Isla. It was established in 1779. It is a lightly peated whiskey, and because of that, I sort of shied away from it for a while. Um, I only picked up a bottle of this fairly recently. Here we are. Looks like it uses some colorant in it. Um, I must say that it was foolish of me to shy away from this whiskey for as long as I did. I got into whiskeys through the peated whiskeys, as I mentioned in my other videos. Um, I um, got a bottle of Lagavulin probably about a year ago. Liked it a lot. I steadily worked through it. I haven't even finished that bottle yet. Then I got a bottle of Lafroig a few months ago. I'd had Lafroig previously and liked it a lot. And when I got that bottle, I sort of fell in love with it. And so I wanted to get more peated whiskeys. And then I got a bottle of Ardbeg 10, and the rest was history. That just made me obsessed with whiskey. Um, and I got into those whiskeys because I really crave super intense flavors. I love spicy food, so I love habanero sauce. Actually, for the longest time, I never really bothered with milder hot sauces, so I never really had much habanero sauce until a little bit later in life when I realized, hey, habanero sauce is actually really good. It doesn't have to burn your mouth for it to be good. So I still love jalapeno, or I still love habanero sauce, but jalapeno sauce can be really good as well. Um, so what I was getting at with that is that Bowmore is sort of more of the jalapeno of Isla whiskeys. It's peaty, but not knock your socks off peaty. Lafroig and Ardbeg would be your habaneros. I get some sugary sweetness on the nose, like a syrupy, dark sugary sweetness. A little bit of salt. Yeah. Tiny bit of oakiness. I don't really smell the peat. Let's try it. Mm. Mm. So good. The peat's totally there. When you sip it, you get sort of like a salted caramel flavor. Um, in fact, you get bitterness to it too. It's sort of like eating like a dark chocolate with salted caramel. Like if you've ever had Ghirardelli dark chocolate with salted caramel, that is sort of what this tastes like. It leaves that bitter, chocolatey aftertaste in your mouth, but the first thing you get is the sweetness and the saltiness. Um, the peat is there along with it too, so yeah, imagine like a Ghirardelli salted caramel dark chocolate bar uh, in liquid form and like smoking a cigarette at the same time. That is sort of the flavor that you get with this. It has some of that oiliness that that dark chocolate often has. Let's dive in again. Yep. So as you go through those rich, sweet, and bitter flavors, and salty flavors, that peat just keeps popping back up and reminding you that it's there, but it doesn't overpower any of those flavors. Another thing I have to note, on my second sip, I noticed a lemony citrus flavor in there too. Um, just adds a nice extra little complement. So you got sweetness there, saltiness, bitter flavor. You got sour flavor in the citrus, and you get the smokiness. This is a really nice, complicated whiskey. Um, you should not overlook it like I did for so long. It is really a gem, and it's a nice whiskey when you're not in the mood for one of those peat monsters. Sometimes, Ardbeg or Lafroig and I get in arguments. I might sometimes, depending on what I've eaten that day or my mood, I'll sip Ardbeg and it just won't taste good to me. And that's my favorite whiskey. Whereas Bowmore is something that, regardless of your mood, it'll always taste good. It's more of a solid, good whiskey. So the highs aren't as high with it as, say, an Ardbeg, but the lows aren't as low either. Ardbeg, it's sort of like that relationship that is just super passionate, and you get in arguments, but then you get in passionate moments of joy, and it's tumultuous and wonderful. Whereas Bowmore is more that relationship where everything's pleasant and nice, and you always have friendly conversations. They might not be quite as deep and intellectual conversations as you do with the Ardbeg, but they're always nice. So it's a great one to have on your shelf to complement the other Islay whiskeys. As for grade, man, it has all those complementary flavors, the bitterness, the sweetness, the smokiness, really bump the grade up in my book. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to give this one a 92. I was expecting to give it something more like a 90, but I'm going 92 here. Until next time.